Hi guys, this is Serving STFU. Wow, what a day. Um, it's near freezing where I'm at right now, but wow, daring don't. Wow. I have a lot to talk about this episode, but I'm gonna keep it brief. I'm gonna get off what I like and what I dislike about the episode, but at the same time, I might end up contradicting myself, so please hang in there. This episode, basically, it is kind of one of those stories, Bam meets up with a favorite. I don't want to say, their hero, but in this case, it's more like Fan meeting the favorite writer. And truth be told, I have seen this happen several times, but the episode reminded me of another episode that I haven't seen since the 1990s, and that is Hey Arnold. The difference in this little twist is I love how they twist it around. At first, when I saw this, like right when they were going up to help the author, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a cranky old person. It's gonna be a person who's gonna complain about, how they hated the job and so on and so forth. And somehow, the little band somehow managed to change things around, and they end up writing another story. It's different. I love the twist of how the author is really daring do. But at the same time, I kind of liked how the story was. Of course, the two contradictions. One was Daring Do's pen name. Seriously, I'm sorry, guys. I understand the writer of this episode. I keep forgetting the name, but I'm sure it's gonna kick me back in the head a bit later on. But the name Rowling reminds me of a lot of J.K. Rowling, of the Harry Potter book series. Now I know what you guys are thinking. How does J.K. Rowling and Daring Do have anything to do with each other? Well, when you do take a look at some in the books, especially the titles, it reminds me so much of it. But it's different. But it's a good difference. It just contradicts. Like, no offense, I understand the trying to pick an original name. Like, they're trying to make, you're like Indiana Jones meets up with My Little Pony or so on and so forth. I love the idea. It's just, couldn't they pick a different author? Or at least have a different names, but like, I don't know, like, at least pick one that doesn't sound realistic. Or sounds very vaguely familiar. The second one I sort of dislike, but it worked out at the end. I mean, come on. Rainbow Dash acting like a fan. This is not the first time she acted like this, but she kind of took it to the extreme. I mean, like when first time she was gonna meet the Wonderbolts was, dare I say it, yes, at the competition. But Rainbow Dash was getting her first stage of stage fright. She had to perform with a bunch of ponies, and she was hoping on pulling off a technique she hasn't done when she was a young filly, and she pulled it off. The second time when she met up with the Wonderbolts was at the Grand Galloping Gala, but we all kind of knew what happened there. The next time when she met up with the Wonderbolts was somewhat not really met up, but Spitfire was there in the episode of Hurricane Fluttershy. And then in Wonderful Academy, which I dearly loved, it's just the performance on Spitfire, I guess the writing was lousy for her. But then again, they had to pin it down. I mean, like, seriously, I seriously doubt that the hub is gonna have Spitfire swearing like a sailor, or basically chewing down on all the cadets. There's a couple things they could have done better, but it was alright. But it was a big turnaround. But when I saw Rainbow Dash acting like a fan, on and off, even though she knew, okay, this is my favorite author. She's my favorite character in the whole show, in the whole book series. And I'm seeing her doing all this. At the same time, the problem is, I promised myself I was going to help her, but I'm doing all this stuff wrong. And that's when we get to a bit before the climax, when Rainbow Dash finally realized, oh my gosh, I completely screwed up 100%. But then Twilight and her friends, Twilight basically reassures her and says, you know what, Daring Do really does need our help. And it does tick me off a bit, because it reminds me a bit too much of the prologue episode with the elements of harmony. When, Twilight was gonna go alone, find the elements of harmony, and defeat Nightmare Moon, but instead she realized she needed her friends. It was opposite, because basically, no offense, I can understand the fandom pandering. I mean, no offense, I love the bit when both Rainbow Dash and Twilight were arguing about how Daring Do does things. She's like, oh, come on. She defeated Arizalo. He's like, yeah, but he could have obviously gone back and try to take over the city. She's like, oh, yeah, but didn't, in the book 4, didn't she have to protect the barriers to protect the city? So, in order for the rings to be divided and spread out, and so on and so forth. It's so funny. It's kind of like when you put two big writers or two big fans together, and you put them in the same room. I mean it. I've seen this before. I've been to RealmsCon 3 times. If you put fans of a certain favorite episode of anime, a TV show, a book, you name it, and you put them in the same room, and you talk about a certain subject, heads are going to butt. It is hilarious, it is funny, but at the same time, you end up thinking of a lot of stuff you didn't know. Now, getting back to Daring Do. Okay, I can admit that I sort of knew I saw this coming, but at the same time, there was a reason why she wasn't willing to trust Rainbow Dash. And they did mention it in the show. In the episode, it did. When the guy came in, turns out that he wanted to be a partner, but I guess at the same time, what they probably didn't tell us was maybe she did consider it, it's just she didn't want to put him in danger. Just to find out he stabbed her in the back, and so on and so forth, and he became an enemy. Kind of reminds me of several other episodes that I've seen. Let's see, Code Lyoko. Let's see, Death Note, Power Rangers, a lot of shows. And of course, so on and so forth. I don't want to disagree with Tommy Oliver. My gosh, I love this guy. I mean, I don't love him. Like, stalking thing. No, I mean, I love how he points out some stuff. I can understand why he doesn't somewhat like the episode. I mean, there was some stuff I did get ticked off about, but then again, not every single episode of My Little Pony is going to be perfect, right? We had several episodes, especially Spike at Your Service being one of those big disappointments to me, even though I know I'm going to get a lot of hate messages about this, but I didn't like that episode. But, came back to the topic, Daring Do, wow. Like I said about the Hate Arnold episode, in that episode, Arnold has to write a report about his favorite author, which he finds out doesn't live too far away from his hometown. but when he meets up with her, she clearly states she doesn't like strangers. Heck, she basically yells at him, and he stands at her freaking house at the gate every day for the whole week. So she finally got some in, and she talks trash to him. And Arnold says, the reason why I wanted to talk to you so much is because of your books. And what happens later, it doesn't give us a proper estimate, but probably about 2 or 3 months later, she writes a book about her experience in a form of a story about a sorceress and this little boy. You gotta see the episode, you gotta love it, but it sort of reminds me of Daring Do. Not the author's a jerk. Daring Do has her reasonings. She's well experienced, she's done stuff before, and if you have someone who just shows up acting like a fan kid saying, oh, I want to help you out, it kind of sometimes does go in the wrong directions. For those who've seen Disney's The Incredibles, you can kind of understand why. But in this case, she had a trust issue. And when Rainbow Dash came into the picture, and she says, you have to trust me. I can help you. And saves her life, she goes, heck, why not? And she does get a character development. Rainbow Dash is the second person to write in a journal, in the diary. I'm not sure how this diary thing works. Are they sharing the diary, or is it an individual diary? It's not explained. I hope to see the diary soon, because hearing about it, it's much different than seeing it. See, what else is there? What's one key point that always picking at me? Oh yeah, at the end, wow, I kind of loved how, Daring Do did end up sending Rainbow Dash the first copy. I loved it. However, I'm sorry to say the book cover reminded me a bit too much of a scene from, yes, I'll say it, Lord of the Effing Ring. Take a look, there's a freaking mountain in the background, the ring looks like a freaking knives on, and you have Daring Do and Rainbow Dash. Kinda almost looks like Frollo and his friend Fred, doesn't it? Well, for this episode, in my opinion, I gave it a B-. Yes, there was some clutter, but it was still a good episode. There was a lot of action scenes. The story, well, it was common, but I love the twist. However, I do wish that there wasn't a big hole in the story. Like, there's several holes, but I'm sure Tommy Oliver had filled them out. Well, this is something STFU signing off. Hopefully, in the next episode, I will be talking about the new one, and not so late. And about Castlevania, it did not remind me of Scooby-Doo, but it sort of reminded me of another horror show, another teen chasing show. And I hope to hear from you guys. Give your options. Signing off.